Hey, let's go ahead and get some messages from our spirit guides, angels, and ancestors. I'm using the Heal Yourself deck. So one card just flew out. Let's find out what it is. We got sexuality. Okay, what's going on with our sexuality? Spirit, what else do we have? Okay. We've got home and patience and hole in the soul. You know, whenever we are desperate, okay, we tend to do things that we know we shouldn't do. For a lot of women and men out there, they use their sexuality to get what they want, okay? They do that because they have been rejected in the past, okay? And they do it because of fear of rejection. Obviously, it's the, if I don't give of my body, this person's not going to be here, right? And or I've had it where men, will use their sexuality to get you hooked on them with no desire to take it any further. And that comes from a lack. For women, they say it's a daddy issue. That's why you become a stripper, right? Is because you got daddy issues or whatever. There's something missing inside of you, so you need the attention of all these men. So in order to do that, you use your sexuality to get what you want, okay? When it comes to men, it's just like fear of rejection. They men do love to have the upper hand. And it's this game that we play back and forth. And I feel like the writing has been on the wall for a very long time. The writing has been on the wall. So for those of you who are giving so freely and frivolously your energy through a sexual nature, what is it that you're lacking? What is it that you need to fulfill? Now, I know a lot of us have been guilty of that. I myself was guilty of that in my younger years, and it came from an abandonment issue. And, not feeling protected by the father. And yes, so the whole stigma was true. But we can either become a statistic of situation, and this is why all of our relationships will continuously fall through, or we learn to have patience within our own, and eventually you want safety and security in a relationship. And that's what home represents, is the safety, the security, the foundation of a relationship. And not staying in one because, the intimacy is good, right? Because everything else has gone to shit. So what does it matter if the intimacy is good? And I think for a lot of you, this is something that you have been learning. And, it's going to take time for you to unravel how you used to do things. Because again, the universe will test you and bring in someone else just to see if you're going to do the same thing, and if you're going to notice the pattern in your relationships. It's like a lot of relationships really are only together these days because of that. It's not because they get along. It's not because they're working together for the same common goal. It's not any of that. It's an egoistic, I'm not saying every relationship, and if you have a great relationship, then this reading is probably not for you. Check my other readings, okay? Otherwise, there will be one out in the future, hopefully, with a message for you. But what I am saying is, the majority of the relationships that I see nowadays, whether that's friends, whether it's family, whether it's whatever, they stay together because of this one component. One component. And it's like, they'll continue to have kids. They'll just continue to get pregnant over and over and over again. Well, whenever their relationship is bad, they get pregnant, boom, now they're stuck again in a whole nother cycle. And they just keep repeating the cycle. Like I've seen it so many times. Or you're walking out the door, you go back that one more time and the universe gets you and you end up pregnant. And now you got to make a decision. Do I stay and try to work it out with this person even though it's toxic? Or, do I cut my losses and we learn how to co-parent? Most of the time they go back in. And then they continue a cycle, and inevitably the relationship breaks itself down. No matter what. Because at the end of the day, that's not going to fix it. That's not going to fix it. And what is it about you and feeling so rejected that you would rather have somebody there than the one? Like, this person, you feel used. You feel, like the only time they give you any attention is when they're under the influence and want to, have some fun. And it's not always necessarily that, or maybe this person, uses that as a component to keep you in line. Or the only time they call is for that. So again, your body is your sanctuary. This is your temple. It's your first home. Your body is your first home. Everything outside of that, that's secondary. But your body it should be treated as such. And when we share that frivolous energy with other, people, and there's no love, there's no manifestation, there's no two people, it's just to get off, well, now you're taking on their energy. They're taking on your energy. You're taking on everybody's energy that they've been with before you because they haven't healed anything. So it's going to make you even feel nastier about yourself. And then they're going to call you crazy. And why are they calling you crazy? Because you're taking on their crazy, and their crazy's crazy, and whatever crazy they've been with. So at the end of the day, it's like, do you want to continue doing this cycle of intimacy with these frivolous partners, thinking that you're going to really get somewhere, that this person's going to commit to you at some point? Or do you take that energy and you put it elsewhere? Put it into, building a career. Put it into building on your own empire, your own body, your own health. Your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health. Because at the end of the day, if this is your situation, the writing's on the wall. Because I look at this card and it looks like a bunch of small writing all over the wall. What is she reading? She knows. And at the end of the day, you got to have patience. Have patience with yourself. If that means you got to become a nun for a while, shit, I've gone 9 years. That kind of stuff doesn't faze me in the least bit. Because at the end of the day, nobody's competing against anyone else in my life. You're competing against my freedom, my solitude, my sanity, my peace, my safety, my security, my sanctuary. And I can use that energy to fill all these other voids, like building my business, helping other people, being creative, painting, art. But it's like the number one thing on everybody's mind. That's why, the, pea industry is so freaking huge. It's the forbidden fruit. It's what breaks up a lot of relationships. What is it that you're not getting from your partner that you feel you have to get out from outside circumstances? Something for you guys to think about. But I don't know who this message is for, but, well, Phoenix says that I'm going to wrap it up here. But have patience with yourself. Wait till the right person comes along and doesn't want those things from you. What they want from you is your time. They don't care about the other stuff because that stuff will come. It's not about getting to your destination. It's about the journey, because otherwise you leave nothing to the imagination, because at the end of the day, you got a hole in your soul and you think that if you use that it's going to actually get you somewhere. No, it's going to get you somewhere. It's going to get you right back to where you are now. And we're going to be having this discussion again. Anyway, love you guys all so much. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment. Let me know how this reading resonates with you. Send it to somebody who needs to hear this message. But this is what they're getting their point across. So I would listen. Anyway, love you guys. Take care.